everybody. Sorry, it took me a second there. I was trying to get Facebook to go live. So I hope you're seeing me. I'm going to go check just in a second and make sure. But first of all, I just wanted to say we're here making self-binding napkins tonight. So these are a great hostess gift. It's I realize only August, but you just have a couple months till Christmas, and it's a great thing to make for your friends and family. I do this probably every year, at least once a year. I make some napkins for my friends and family. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around. I'm going to make sure we're going good on Facebook, and then we'll get started. Okay, thanks. And you're going to hear my daughter talking to the dogs. There we are. Okay, just making sure that we're live. And turn the noise down. There we go. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Phyllis. Hi, Ann. Hi, Mary. Good to see you guys. Okay, so I went ahead and got started with, boy, it's kind of dark in here, isn't it? Well, I guess it's okay. I went ahead and got started with this so you didn't have to watch me pin the whole thing. But what I've done is I've cut the outside piece of fabric is 18 inches square. The inside piece of fabric is 16.5 inches square. You can make these any size you want to. All you have to do is make sure that your inside piece of fabric is 1.5 inches smaller than your outside piece of fabric. So it doesn't matter what size you make it. I happen to use this size just because I use fat quarters for this. A lot of times if I get a collection of fat quarters, I have 1 or 2 or 5 that I don't end up using in whatever quilt I'm going to use them for. In this case, the darker fabrics and the plainer fabrics I didn't use from this collection because I wanted the brighter ones. So I had these left over, and they're still beautiful, but I don't have anything to use them for, so I use them to make napkins. And it's a great way to use up your fat quarters that you've already used the rest of the collection, or, you know, whatever. If you have some leftover yardage or anything you can use for this. You can also piece them together, of course, and they make really cute napkins when you get them pieced together as well. Anyway, first thing you want to do is you want to mark your center. So in this case, 16.5 would be 8 1/4, and your 18, of course, that's 9 inches. So that means that your outside piece, of course, is bigger than your inside piece. So when you go to pin them, you'll see, and I'll show you this side that I've already pinned, the outside, because it's bigger, you're going to have it, it's going to curl in like this a little bit. Can you see that? So it's curling in a little bit. That's because it's, of course, going to be longer on the edge. So what you want to do is pin your centers together, and then pin, your next pins are going to come out, and then the next ones are these, and then the next ones are these, and you'll go all the way to the end. And when you're done, you'll have this little dog ear where you can't pin it because you've got extra here at the end, but that's okay. When we go to sew it, I'll show you what we do with that. So go ahead and do all 4 sides where you pin it from starting in the center and then working your way out. So I've done 2 sides already so that you didn't have to watch me do the whole thing, but I'll go ahead and do these other 2 sides, and you'll see it's pretty fast. As long as you got your pin cushion where you need it. So I just do this so that it stays flat all along the edge, and you're just moving that extra bit all the way out to the edge of your corners. This is also, you might have seen this technique done with baby blankets before, because you can do this with flannel and a piece of cotton and make mitered corner baby blankets. Of course, the pieces will be bigger than they are in this. And the difference will be larger as well, probably. I don't even know what the measurements are, something like 3 or 4 inches bigger on the outside than the inside, but yeah, you can make baby blankets the same way. It's kind of fun making receiving blankets with some flannel or some double gauze or something. It makes really pretty baby blankets. So I'm just finishing up these 2 sides that I hadn't done before we were on camera. I just don't want you guys to have to watch me do all 4 sides. Try not to keep you guys much more than a half an hour on Tuesday nights. And because my computer screen is over to the side of me, I can't see if you're asking questions, but I will check in just a minute to see if you're asking questions so I can answer your questions. Give me just a sec. I want to go ahead and finish pinning this. Okay, so this is pinned all the way around all 4 sides. And as you can see, there's a dog ear here at the edge, and that'll be on all 4 corners. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to check and see if you have questions on Facebook. Hold on. Hi, Linda. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, you finally get to see us live. I'm glad you're here too, Bonnie. Hey, Shelly, I am on. Can you see me? You can hear me now because I'm not on the camera, but. Okay, so I am moving over to the sewing machine here. So what I'm going to do is start in the middle, about a couple inches out, maybe an inch out. Oh, I turned that. Sorry about that. There we go. So I'm going to start, this is the center, so I'm going to start out about here. So I'm going to leave a space. I'm going to go all the way around the whole square, and I'm going to leave a space so that I can turn these right side out when I'm done. I know it does seem weird to start with 2 pieces that are not the same size. It's strange, but you'll see how it comes together in the end. So I'm going to start out from the center a little bit so that I can turn this. And I'm just going to back stitch. And I'm going to find a pin cushion so I can take these pins out as I go. Okay. Okay, so now here I'm coming to the corner. I'm going to stop when I'm 1/4 of an inch away from the corner of the inside fabric. And I want to end with my needle down. I'm just going to lift up my presser foot, and I'm going to turn the corner. And when I do, I'm going to take this dog ear that's underneath, and I'm going to move it away so that it is, actually, I'm going to pull the needle up. I was wrong about that. I forgot. Sorry about that. Take your needle out. Pull your dog ear away so that it moves underneath where the needle has come up. So you want it back of the needle. And then you're going to start again, and you're going to go down this side. So you're just leaving that dog ear open back there. Now, I'm sorry, you're going to have to watch me drive all the way around this thing. Can you hear me okay? I just realized I left the microphone over on the other side. Hearing me okay? Sorry, I'm trying to get this so that I can see you guys and see the camera at the same time. Sorry, you have to watch me drive all the way around. Can you hear me okay? Now you can hear me twice. Okay, there we go. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to move the microphone so that I was sure that you could hear me while I was so. I'm going to turn, flip that out of the way. This side. Probably been a year since I've done this, so I had to think about it again. Even though I did look at my directions this morning just to make sure I remembered what I was doing. I'm gonna flip that out of the way again. So where am I at? Okay, I'm on the third side. So I have one more half a side to do after this side. So okay, and I want to go to about here. And then I just back stitched at the end. I'll go ahead and take these pins out because I don't need them anymore. And now I'm just gonna flip this. Well, first I gotta do this part. Okay, never mind. Now I'm moving back over to the cutting table. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do this off camera because I don't think I can get my iron underneath the camera, but what I'm gonna do is just press this out. So what's gonna happen is when I press this, the right side fabric is going to have a crease right here that's just about the same size as your seam allowance. So all the way around, I'm gonna press it so it's nice and flat all the way around like that. Maybe I can get this the iron in here so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm pressing from the center out, and it's basically making it so that sometimes it takes a little. Manipulation. There we go. So I'm basically just pressing it so it's flat. I know this is hard to see probably on camera, but I'll try to show you what I'm doing here. So can you see that I'm pressing the seam flat, which is making the right side fabric come out, and there's like a little fold there of fabric. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. And it's about the same width. Whoops. Just ironed my hand. That's not good. It's about the same width as the seam allowance when you, that little fold part is. So the last thing we need to do before we turn it is I gotta find the place where I'm turning it. Where is my hole? There it is. Okay. So I'm pulling the two layers apart. Kind of matching up those two seams. So I'm trying to figure out which direction. There we go. So that it's flat like this. And then I'm going to make a mark. gotta see where the seam, where the stitching ends. There it is. I used dark fabric, which makes it hard to see the stitching. So I'm gonna line up a straight line on right where that fold is. And what I've done again is just matched up these seams here on the side. I've pulled the two fabrics apart. And then I'm going to put this on the straight line, and I'm gonna make a mark down to where the stitching is at the corner right here. And that's what's gonna make that, that miter on that. So then I'll just take this over to the sewing machine and I'll sew right on that line that I just marked. I'm going to do this all the way around. On each of the corners. I think I described this much better in my written directions that I sent you guys this morning, if you're on my email list already, that I'm doing tonight for some reason. Maybe I had too much coffee this morning or something. Okay, one last one. Okay, so I'm just going to go and sew right on that mark that I just made, which goes 90 degrees from this fold line down to the original stitching. What the stitching looks like on the dog ear corners. Okay. Let me do that before I do the other. Can you see? Oh, let me switch back. Hold on. Sorry, Bonnie asked to see the stitching on the corners before I start doing the other part. So it's just, I've just gone around the corner at 1/4 of an inch, but I left this side open because it's bigger than this side. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I'm just gonna sew right on those marked lines that I just made. That I can barely see because I'm drew on black fabric. And I'm sewing right up to that corner right where the stitching is, and then I'm gonna back stitch a little bit right there. I burnt my hand with my iron, you guys. I know this is the most confusing part, so I was trying to describe it as well as I could, but There's some pretty good pictures in the directions I sent you too. And if you guys aren't already on my mailing list, I put a link there in the video so you can get on the mailing list, and I'll send you the directions, the written directions. Because I know I'm moving a little bit fast with this. One more. Hey, Bonnie. Yeah, no, you don't stitch down the fabric when you go around the corner. So I just turn the corner, then I lift my needle and move it out of the way, and then start stitching down the next side. Okay, so move my microphone back over here. So I'm just going to trim away at 1/4 of an inch away from the stitching I just did on each of the corners. Okay, and let me find my turning hole again. There it is. Now I'm just going to turn the whole thing inside out, right side out, I should say. And I like to use a chopstick to turn my corners, but whatever you have that you like to turn things with, I use that to get my corners pointy. Oops, there we go. So can you see how it's got a nice mitered corner there? So all the corners are turned out. Now I am going to press it. And it'll have that nice edge on it. Move this over so you can see this, hopefully. There we go. Okay, so I try to start kind of a little bit away from the edge before I press it. I don't want to press this so that you can't see the edge, because the whole point is to have that nice edge that looks like you've piped it. So when I flatten it down to press it, I try to make sure that I keep that nice edge there. And if you would like a larger flange, just make your inside piece smaller, and then that flange will get bigger. Like if you want to cut your pieces 20 by 20, or let's see, how big can you do with a regular yard of fabric? You could do 2 pieces at 21 by 21, and then you could make your inside piece like 18, and then you'd have an even bigger edge on it. So as you can see, it's got all of the edges. Here, let me show you a corner. So all of the edges are about 1/4 of an inch of edging, and then the other side is nice and square. And then all you do is just top stitch. I don't have black thread in my machine right now, or I would show you, but you know how to top stitch. So you just top stitch all the way around at 1/4 of an inch, and that should give you a nice little edge, and that'll close. Here's the hole right here, the opening for turning. That'll close your turning opening. Just go nice and slow. Make sure that you're staying right on the edge of this piece. And if you have a machine that has a nice stitch on your bobbin, you can even sew from this side to do your top stitch. My stitch, this machine that I'm using, my Juki, I stitch on the bottom all the time with no problem, but this one doesn't have a nice bobbin stitch, so I would rather top stitch it. But just go nice and slow all the way around at 1/4 of an inch, or maybe just a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch, so you make sure you don't go off the edge of it. And just top stitch all the way around, and you've got a nice double-sided, nice, thick, heavy, good, soft, because it's beautiful quilting cotton, napkin to use for your nice dinner parties or to give away to as a gift for friends. So I hope you liked that. And I'm going to turn the camera on me again, and I'm going to go take a look. Hey, it's me. I'm going to go take a look and make sure that you guys don't have any questions that I can answer before I sign off. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I was saying earlier, there's lots of people make baby quilts this way, and so you can make a really nice, what do you call it, receiving blanket like this using double gauze or felt, not felt, flannel. And yeah, so I know that it's an old-fashioned thing to do, but a lot of people haven't seen it before. So I just decided that it might be a fun thing to show you. We also have a lot of people in the club, in the Tilda Club, who are new quilters and new sewers. So I thought this was something that maybe they hadn't seen before. So I just thought I would remind you of the technique, because I know that I don't think of it very often when I'm sewing. So I thought maybe you all could either use a reminder, or maybe if you'd never seen it before, you'd like to see it. So that's why I decided to show it tonight. So it has been great to be with you. I love doing this every Tuesday. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you again next week on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern. And I hope you had a good time. And I will see you later.